Alt Rock Radio Now is recorded and produced at Music City Studio in Kelowna, BC. Music City Studio is a recording studio and rehearsal space that also hosts jam nights and runs workshops and courses. Visit musiccitystudio.ca for more details. Touring musicians welcome. Hello and welcome to episode 17 of Alt Rock Radio Now. My name is Vincent Jones and I am your host, and I'm joined here in Kelowna's Music City Studio by Mike Pedersen and Valaura Vedan. We've got another great episode coming your way this week, and we're really excited because this week we get to announce the Delhi contest winner. So that's coming up later in the show, so anybody who's tuned in just for that, you gotta wait a bit longer. We're gonna make you actually fast forward or something. So let's get into our first song this week. It comes from White Royal, an awesome three-piece band out of Leeds, England. This is their song. It's called Embassy. All right, so once again, that was White Royal with their song Embassy. So it was St. Patrick's Day earlier this week, and being, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, you guys, the only part Irish member of the ARR Now team. Am I right? You're part Irish?
Yeah.
You are part Irish?
Yeah.
You are, really?
I am, for real.
Oh, crap. Okay, well, that kind of throws us off a little bit, but we can do this together, Mike.
Right.
I felt it was my job, but I guess it's our job now, to bring a little Irish mirth, a little St. Patrick's Day mirth to this week's show, because it's episode 17, which works out great, but also St. Patrick's Day was earlier this week. So I saw this thing floating around online. It was one of these things that says, what's your leprechaun name? Like one of those charts, right? So basically how it works is, the last letter of your name corresponds to like a full word or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in your case, it would be N equals this and blah, blah, blah. For anyone out there who's listening, they obviously can't see the list. So I thought we'd all share our leprechaun names based on this list. Yeah?
All right.
So seeing as you are also part Irish, Mike, I think you should go first.
Okay.
And I'm going to pass you the list now. So let's make rustling noises so everybody can hear it. And here you go.
All right. So how does this work?
Okay, check it out. You'll figure it out.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, bear with
The
me
suspense
here.
is killing me. It's like drum roll.
The last letter of your first name.
Come on.
Tater. And let's see here. McCoppertop. Tater McCoppertop.
Say it again.
Tater McCoppertop.
Oh, nice. That was pretty good. All right. I need my notes back, though, please. Awesome. So, obviously, me and V have to do ours, but I think we should do the next song first.
Okay.
What do you think? We'll build some suspense around it.
Yeah, you can. I know the suspense is killing you all out there. You can't wait to know what my stupid leprechaun nickname is.
Obviously, you're excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, our next song this week comes from a Vancouver band. They're called the Courtenays. And the band is made up of a trio of Courtenays. They're all called Courtenay, which is kind of cool. And they make sun-drenched, flying nun-influenced pop with sweet licks that'll stick with you for days. So take a listen to this and see if it sticks with you for days. It's called Lost Boys. All right, so once again, that was the Courtenays, and that was their song, Lost Boys. Okay, the suspense is over, and I'm not talking about the contest. I am talking about leprechaun names.
Right.
We touched on it in the last segment. Valaura, you know what yours is because you saw the list during the song there, so why don't you share it with us?
My amazing leprechaun name. Leprechaun name.
This is your leprechaun legal name.
My leprechaun driver's license says Sprinkles O'Wickless.
You have
Sprinkles
to say it like a leprechaun.
I can't do it. I can't. The only Irish thing I can say it in Irishese is Irish.
Nice.
That's all I got. That's all Sprinkles O'Wickless.
There you go. Nice.
Thanks.
Okay, now it's my turn. So last letter of your first name, which would be T. So I'm Peevish. And the first letter of your last name, which is J. Peevish McWhiskey.
Nice.
It's actually a pretty badass Irish name there.
That's how this came about. You actually, because yours isn't that bad or goofy, so that's why we're doing this, isn't it?
I have no comment to make.
Yeah.
Speaking of, though, I do want you guys to cast your mind back to episode 16, if you will. So that was last week's show. And remember how I started talking about car pranks?
Yeah.
Well, I forgot to call us back to that through the episode. My bad. I know. Mike's looking at me like I'm such a screw.
Jeez.
He knows the truth by now. And it wasn't on purpose. I just forgot. I was pretty hungry, as you'll recall, when we recorded last week's episode. So I'm wondering if that had something to do with it. I'm one of these people who gets hangry. You think you guys all know. Well, V, I know you know it. Mike, I think you know that by now too. I'm like, I get angry when I'm hungry. So anyway, I think that's why I forgot. But we didn't call back to the car pranks. And Mike, you shared a good one with us. I shared sort of a lame kind of anecdote question. So now, V, I know you don't mind that I forgot because you said you didn't have one anyway.
I don't have any. I mean, I don't have any car pranks. I do have a kind of a car story, I guess.
Okay. Well, I was going to say, are you standing by the fact that you don't have one, or do you want to share the car story?
Yeah, I'll share it.
Okay, go.
I mean, I don't have any like prank type stuff, but I did when I was in high school. I drove this truck. It was about 10 years old, and it was just this like really, really basic gray pickup truck, and it had been a former oil filled truck, so like did not even have a cassette player. Like the radio didn't work. Just really not amazing. And I had, I think, about 20 sandbags in the back of the truck, and that still wasn't enough to get me any traction. So even after they plowed the roads and they were sanded, I would still get stuck on just flat road. Like I'm not in snow, I'm not in a slushy area. I just was stuck all the time.
That's classy right there.
So I would be texting my guy friends probably at least 3 times a week to have them come and push me on the flat ground. Cool. To get me out. I got stuck outside of the high school all the time.
So not a sweet ride is what you're saying?
No, I don't. And then after that car, I drove what I finally referred to as my grandma-mobile. It was like a 2003 forest green Buick Century. So
I could see that.
Yeah. Me blasting Michael Bublé out the windows. It's like the most badass 20-year-old ever.
Well, moving on to that, back to my badass story from last week, actually.
Right.
I decided, I threw it out there, does shaving cream rust the body or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
I actually went online. There's this really cool search engine called Google. I don't know if you guys have heard of it.
No.
Well, it's pretty neat. You just throw terms in and it'll give you information back, answer your question on it. Yeah.
I bet that's going to take off.
I don't know. I mean, the name's a bit weird and they use all these bright colors in the logo. Anyway, I Googled it and I sort of got an answer to the question. There were some people who disagreed, but it doesn't rust the body.
Mm-hmm.
I did confirm that, but it can damage the paint job. So there were some people on there being like, "Oh, it doesn't do anything," but there was a lot of people also saying, "Yeah, it can damage the paint job." And what had happened to this one kid? Some of his friends had put shaving cream on his vehicle, and then it had been washed off. And his mum said, even though the car had been cleaned like 1,000,000 times, when the sunlight hit it the right way, you could still see whatever word they'd written in the paint. So they were like having it buffed and rebuffed to try and get it out. So it can damage the paint job. In some cases, you'll have to get it repainted. So there you go. You do know now about shaving cream. Anyway, I thought on it a bit further as well, because I expected when I brought that up, and I won't go on about this for too much longer, but I expected when I brought that up that I would have all these amazing stories. I just felt like I had these stories in my head that had happened. And then when I started to think about it, I was like, I don't have that many. I don't have many car prank stories that are better than the nut story. Like they're all pretty lame. I do know one story though that I think happened to a friend or they were involved with doing, and they did the post-it note thing, the sticky notes.
Oh yeah.
They just covered a vehicle in them, which I think is pretty neat. So I went online anyway, again, and I looked up some car pranks. I was like, okay, I don't have one, so I have to find some that are, pretty cool. So the ones I like, that I saw online, I like wrapping a friend's vehicle in saran wrap, which I think is pretty neat, especially if you put enough saran wrap on and it's a hot day or something. I do like the post-it notes as well. I think that's cool, especially if you do it right. You cover the whole thing, headlights, you do some different colors maybe, some, color coordination. And then another one, which I thought was pretty rad. You would need the keys to do this though. Filling your friend's car with shredded paper or similar, which would be pretty sweet. So yeah, those are some of the pranks I saw. And then there's just basic ones like moving the car, maybe leaving a fake accident note, which could be kind of interesting. Maybe a bit mean too, that one.
I think tinfoil would be better than saran wrap. Because you can actually like mold it into the creases, and if you use like credit cards to like keep it nice and flat and really shiny.
Oh, that could be pretty sweet actually.
That'd be
So that's another one.
rad.
We'll add that to the list when we do it to Mike's car.
When we're talking about post-it notes, who are these filthy rich teenagers who can afford to buy that many post-it notes?
Yeah, I know, right?
Post-it notes are expensive.
Maybe the parents just have them in their office or something.
I feel guilty every time I use a post-it note. I avoid it. Like I have tons of them at the office that I work in, but I just feel bad using them. Anyway, sidetracked.
Before we move on, do you have any more? We don't have to do it right now, but do you have any more epic car stories you want to share later in the show?
Might be one more.
Okay, so keep that in mind.
All right.
We will come back to it. But let's get into another song. I think we're done with the cars for now.
We should probably play some music.
I think we should. I think that's probably why people are listening.
Yeah.
This song is called Magpie, and it's off the debut EP of London, England indie rock artist Khushi. Let's have a listen.
Silence will take care of itself, but I want you and not somebody else. Caught up in things we couldn't change, but this arrow's flying on its way, and I just taste of it. From standing still, I sewed up and went in for the kill. Nothing more left to say or see, when silence is our only honesty, and darling, just a taste of it. And I want you, not somebody. I want you, not somebody. I want you, not some. Never been one to stay. Half of mine all the time and get in the way. Never been one to stay. Half an eye on the time, let's get in the way.
right, so that was Khushi, and the song was Magpie. Such a great tune. Again, that's off Khushi's debut EP, which came out earlier this month. And by the way, I hope I'm saying that right. I have no idea whether I am. If I'm wrong, I apologize. One thing I wanted to mention about Khushi is I was on the Facebook page, and the bio simply says, "Born a bastard, raised by wolves, finished by the end," which I thought was just kind of cool.
Yeah.
Who does that describe? Who is Khushi? Anyway, it's the moment you've all been waiting for.
This is it?
This is it. It's time for us to announce the winner of the awesome Delhi contest we've been running over on our Facebook page. So, Mike, we need a little drum roll, please. A little After Effects.
Okay. There it is.
Selected entirely at random, the winner of a Delhi t-shirt and a physical copy of their self-titled EP is... Oh, you ready? It's James Calder. So, James, congratulations. We'll be in touch regarding your prize. And thanks to everyone who entered. And, of course, thanks to Delhi for so generously donating their merch for this contest. Stay tuned because we will have more contests coming, hopefully, in the not-too-distant future.
Mm-hmm.
And, Mike, do you have a song for us this
do.
week that you're ready to throw our way?
Yep. So the song I'm playing this week comes a guy named Mac DeMarco. He's originally from Edmonton. Now he's in Montreal. He's got a new album that's coming out on April 1st called Salad Days. And the song I'm going to play is the single they released from that. It's called Brother. Shit.
Take it slowly, brother.
Okay, that was Brother from Mac DeMarco. So you want to hear the car story, do you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's hear it.
All right. So this one took place at high school as well, same parking lot and everything. I was in the mechanics class there, so you can imagine. I'm sure you know what the mechanics class kids are like, up to no good.
I have an idea.
So I think this car was donated to the school or something like that for us to work on, and a buddy and myself, we were sort of set up to work on the brakes. So we thought it'd be funny to disconnect the brakes from this car. And at the end of the day, it had to be moved out into the parking lot. So it wasn't running, so it had to be pushed out in neutral kind of thing. So we disconnected the brakes and didn't say anything about it. So the guys pushed the car out into the lot, started pushing it towards the wall of the school.
Oh, no.
And they had quite a bit of energy behind it and pushed the car right into the side of the school and the whole building. Like the windows were shaking and people were popping out the window to see what the hell was going on. And we were just kind of standing in the bay doors watching it all go down.
Freaking high school kids. It's a good one.
Wow.
You have some good car prank stories. Thanks, Mike. You really carried that conversation, I think.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
recommend doing that. Just
Cutting the
connecting.
brake lines?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. It's like an evil genius thing to do. What's the equivalent of an evil genius when you're not a genius?
Oh, burn.
Evil, moderately intelligent person.
I'll take it.
Gotta take it. I think that's not too bad. I think this week we should talk about karaoke.
Okay.
All right.
Ready for this? I want to know what your go-to songs are for karaoke. So, for instance, for me, one song I like to do at karaoke because one, it's in my range, and two, I just like singing it, is Johnny Cash, Folsom Prison Blues.
Nice. Classic.
I love doing that. And I've had occasions where I've done this at karaoke and I've had, ladies up dancing, like little old ladies, and it's been a good experience. So I like doing that one. What do you guys have? Do you have any real go-to karaoke songs?
I've never done karaoke.
What?
What?
And I never plan to either.
You're just too shy.
Michael.
Just not
No.
into it. Well, anytime I've ever been around karaoke, it's just been fucking awful. So that's sort of been my experience
Mike,
with it.
tell us how you feel, man.
No, that's just, yeah, it's always been bad. And I've never joined in, put it that way.
Karaoke is a special thing because you don't have to be a good singer for it to be considered good karaoke, but when you're not, you have to like really, really go for it. So
Right.
the best karaoke performance that I've ever seen, there's this little dive bar in Edmonton that my friends and I used to go to, and we went there because it was like the scummiest place on earth, and it was wonderful, and they had the best karaoke. So we were having a few drinks there on like a Saturday night, and these like 3 or 4 guys came in, and they were probably about like 23 or 24, and like they looked like the kind of guys who probably have skateboards and listen to rock music or whatever.
Right.
And they got up and they started singing Kylie Minogue's Can't Get You Out of My Head. And they went for it. Like they did their best to do the crappiest harmonizing of all time.
Awesome.
And they were doing dance moves. And that was probably like 6 years ago. And it still stands out in my mind as like one of the best karaoke performances I've ever seen.
Well, I totally agree with you. And Mike, you're on your own here because I love karaoke too.
I don't seek it out. I don't want to go out on karaoke nights or.
But I do agree. Like, you don't have to be an amazing singer to do karaoke. The passion of or doing a song. Another thing that helps is doing a song that everybody knows in the bar, because people will sing along and nobody's paying any attention really to how you sound anymore. But if you pick one that nobody really knows and then you're terrible at it and it's got all these high notes or something, then everybody's like, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
But there've been occasions where I've been involved in a very bad karaoke performance, maybe even one of the worst that I've been, in a karaoke bar for, and I was involved with the performance. It was me and my old roommate. We went to, you guys all know this place. Nobody out there will, but you'll know where I'm talking about. We went to the Grateful Fed.
Right.
Which is a little bar, restaurant, eatery type place here in Kelowna. And it's a really small venue, but they have karaoke. And this one particular night, me and my friend decided to do David Bowie's Changes.
Nice.
I don't know why we picked that one, but I was going through this phase where I almost liked to do a growl when I was like doing karaoke for some reason.
No.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Oh,
But it was just...
you're the reason Mike doesn't go to karaoke.
It was bad.
It was you that spoiled it. I wasn't going to tell you.
It was bad. Like, we were up there, and I don't think that... I don't think I was the worst of the duo. Let's put it that way. Maybe I'm being kind to myself, but it was just a bad all-around performance. I actually saw the karaoke guy like shrug at one of the like bartenders, and I don't know, maybe I was just being paranoid. Like, I thought he was shrugging and being like, what the hell's going on? I have no idea, kind of thing. Maybe it was just a shrug about something else, but in that moment I was so paranoid because the performance was so bad that yeah, I thought he was probably talking about us.
Amazing.
But the worst performance I've ever seen karaoke was somebody got up and did Float On. You know that song?
Yeah. Modest Mouse.
Yeah, Modest Mouse. And it was the worst because they tried to do the way the song is sung.
Right.
And it was just bad. It was just not a very good version. It was like, oh my God, he's scratching my eardrums right now. So yeah.
My go-to karaoke song, I mean, I have a couple of them, but probably the one I like the most is Norah Jones, I Don't Know Why. But a few weeks ago, we went out for a friend's birthday, and we have kind of an inside joke about having gotten way too drunk one night and singing Disney songs at like 3:00 in the morning in the apartment at like the top of our voices. So for his birthday, I decided that I was going to sing A Whole New World to celebrate. So that was going really, really well. You know, everybody was having a good time. They were all up there. And the next thing I know, I look over and one of our friends is on a rug from the front door, like the front door of the bar. They've pulled up the carpet and he's being carried by two strangers. He does not know who these strangers are,
That's
but
awesome.
he's flying. He's on his magic carpet. I sing A Whole New World. It was amazing.
It was freaking awesome. I would have Instagrammed that shit, except I was laughing and it happened so fast. But it was great. It just fit with the song and everything, and that was fun. And I just want to say, I want to end on a positive note with the karaoke. I once saw a guy get up who didn't look like he would be good at karaoke. I don't know what it was about him. I just didn't feel like he would be a good singer for some reason. I don't know. Anyway, he got up and he did an amazing Michael Bublé.
Oh, was that right?
I can't remember what song he did now, but he was great. He actually sounded like Michael Bublé. Maybe not exactly like him, but you know, he had quality to his voice.
Wow.
But he just, I don't know, I think he just kind of looked like a guy who was doing it for fun, I guess, and didn't really look like he'd be doing it. I don't know. It just didn't look like he would sound amazing like that, but he did. I don't know how to describe it.
Nice.
Anyway, Mike, if you were to do karaoke, I know you're totally against it. You think it's an evil in the world. But what song would you pick? One right now on the spot. What would you do?
I have no idea.
You're bad at this game.
Pick a favorite,
I'll
Mike.
share some interesting information though. There was a guy in his mid 60s, and I was doing some Pro Tools training with him, which is recording software, and he actually brought the very first karaoke machine into Canada.
That's pretty
He lives here
cool.
in Kelowna.
That's awesome.
So he's responsible for this terrible, terrible thing called karaoke.
He's responsible for a great thing called karaoke. All right. Next up, let's move on.
I avoided that question.
You did avoid it. We might come back to it though,
All
if
right,
I
we'll see.
remember. Next up, we've got a song from Italian alternative rock band Skullmonkeys, the first Italians ever to appear on alt rock radio now. From the debut EP, this is I Wanna Say.
I want to see I'm not so strong. I am the one who's falling down. Can't remember days when I couldn't smile. That was my life. Can I try again today? I want to say I'm a dreamer, that's the only way. Today I want to say here I'm again. I have no home. I feel absurd. Just a little crash, and I am told today I want to say I'm a dreamer. I want to live today. I want to say here I'm okay, and I'm so weak. Wanna say goodbye, goodbye my world. I'm not so proud, but I'm so weak and it hurts today, and it hurts today. I'm so weak today. Hey my world, farewell.
All right, so that was Skullmonkeys, and that was their song, I Wanna Say. Skullmonkeys got in touch with us through YouTube, interestingly enough, which isn't a place we get a lot of people contacting us, but cool, however you want to get in touch works. And they just got in touch and said, hey, you know, you guys check out our music, and here they are on the show. So if you're in a similar position to the Skullmonkeys and you'd like to hear your music on Alt Rock Radio Now, get in touch with us. Whether it's through YouTube, through our Facebook page, through Twitter, Google+, whatever it is. Yeah, right. Whatever it is, let us know. And same goes for listener recommendations. If you've got a favorite band out there who you think we should feature, or just anyone you think we should check out, let us know as well. You don't have to be in a band to contact us. We would really appreciate it. We'd love to interact with you guys, so keep that in mind. And let's get all the social media stuff out of the way at once, I think. Just for anyone out there who's wondering, if you're wondering where you can find the info on any of the bands that we've featured on this week's show, or any of our other shows for that matter, we post up on our Facebook page about the episode, and we tag the bands over there. So you can find the tagged page of any of the bands that we've had on this week's show, and from there you can go to their page and find the music and buy stuff and all that kind of jazz. So keep that in mind. And I think we'll jump along to your song now, V, if you're ready to share it with us.
Yeah, for sure. So the song that I'm going to share with you guys this week is a bit of an interesting story. I apologize, my phone is dying. I'm that kid. So I was looking for different venues to find bands on, because a lot of the times the hours that we put into the show is us sitting at our computers for hours on end, cruising Bandcamp or, I don't know, YouTube, and all different kinds of venues to find songs. So I decided that this time I was going to try Kickstarter as a means to find new bands. Well, I came across a band from Australia called Video Set, and I loved their stuff so much. So I reached out to them, and they were really excited to be on the show. And then about 2 days before we started recording the show, I got a message from them to tell me that I didn't need to mention the Kickstarter campaign anymore because they've broken up.
Oh, no.
So,
damn it.
But I love their music so much, and I mean, it's still out there. You can still get it. So the band is called Video Set, and the song is called Tigers.
tiger on your toes, tiger with the dusty nose, sitting all day silently on the mantelpiece, peacefully across the floor.
Once again, that was Video Set, and the song is Tiger. I think I might have called it Tigers before. It's just, there's no plural. There's only one tiger.
It's one tiger all alone. No tiger.
Loneliest tiger. Yeah.
Well, we talked about the breakup thing. You mentioned it to me before the show, before we were recorded a few days ago. And it's interesting because Fields of Green, who Mike, you will know.
Yeah.
In fact, who our listeners will know, because we featured Fields of Green on episode 2, and then we had them on the Music City podcast. For anyone who's listened to our previous show, we had them on the Music City podcast a couple of times. We did an interview and all that stuff.
We had them on quite a few times.
Yeah. And they're an awesome band. Alternative, psychedelic rock type band, and they put on a phenomenal live show, just full of energy, and everyone's up, jumping, that kind of thing. Well, sad news came down the pipe just this past week here. They've broken up. Which is really sad. So they played their last show this past weekend, and of course we wish them the absolute best with all the stuff that they do next, because they're great guys. And it's just a case of life happening for them. Other band members going off pursuing different dreams, another guy in the band just feeling kind of run down by a bit of musical burnout sort of thing. So there's different reasons for them going their separate ways, but whatever they do, we obviously wish them well.
Totally.
But what they did as they were as sort of, maybe they called it, I think, a parting gift on Facebook. They shared a couple of songs. So some new material that they've sort of had in the pipe that they didn't get a chance to put out yet. And they thought, well, we might as well share it. And so they posted that up. So me and V were talking about this breakup and, breakup of bands and how it's sad. And we thought, well, no, let's have let's have these bands on the show, because to the people out there who maybe missed episode 2 and missed Fields of Green on the Music City podcast, it's still new music to them, and the same with the band V just featured there. So we're going to play a Fields of Green song in a second, but I kind of want to talk about the show we went to on the weekend.
Yeah, let's hear about it, because I didn't get to go, which I was I was very disappointed that I couldn't make it out to see them for their last show. But
yeah, well, it was wild. It was.
I bet.
I got kicked in the face.
Nice.
No exaggeration. I got
Must
kicked
have
in
been
the
good.
face.
Yeah, it was a good show. We were right at the front, and it was pretty busy in there. It's at Fernando's, which is a great local venue here in Kelowna. And they just had everyone bouncing like they usually do. They just put so much energy into it.
Mm-hmm.
They turned Blank Town, one of their songs, almost into a duet between Kyle, who's the lead singer, and Johnny, who's the drummer, which was neat. But what they did, and this is where V got kicked in the face, they basically, they almost started a riot with their last song. So how would you describe it, V, what they did at the end?
Okay, so at the end, Johnny, who's the drummer, comes up to the mic, and he takes the mic and says, you guys know that this is our last show, but we have a surprise for you. He says, we have a new band. And then the drums and the guitars kick in, and it's insane. It turns out Johnny is quite the metal, has quite the metal screamo skills. And I'm not a fan of metal. I really, really like amazing, strong, gritty guitar work, but the screaming that I can't understand is not my favorite thing, but I can appreciate when people can do it well, and he can do it really, really, really well.
I didn't know he could do that.
So the next thing I know, there's like mosh pits going on next to me, and I'm carrying thousands of dollars in camera equipment because that's what I do. I'm like trying to protect it. It was insane. It was it was madness.
So Johnny's singing, he's like pushing the crowd, jumping in the crowd. Kyle's coming in the crowd, shoving everyone. I'm right at the front. So I'm right at the forefront of everything, and I'm just, loving it. It's all jumping around. Stuff got smashed by accident, obviously, but just in the melee.
Lighting.
There's lights there, right? For the band, and the light got smashed, and there's beer bottles all on the floor that probably got smashed. It was just, they jumped into the crowd and started shoving everyone, and then because it was such a densely packed crowd, everyone moved, and it was wild. There was only one song, but seriously, it was like a workout. It was like going to the gym. Yeah. It was good cardio.
And the next thing, Johnny came crashing into the crowd, and then Kyle was in the crowd too, but then after that I didn't see Johnny, and I just was focused on enjoying the moment yet keeping my camera safe at the same time. And then the next thing I know, I kind of was like turning to look over my shoulder, and I just see blackness, and what had happened was Johnny had crowd surfed his way back into the front, back to the stage area, and he was coming feet first, which is how I got kicked in the face. And then his foot was coming down because I was at the front, so there was nowhere else to carry him. So he was coming down, but I was wearing like a long drapey sweater type thing. Right. And then his foot got caught in my sweater, so he couldn't stand. So I'm like trying to unwrap him, and he has no idea what's going on. It was insane. It was insane.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
It was a good way to go out. And it was nice because in situations like that, you're not sure what to expect. And we're talking about a group of guys who've been playing together for 6 years. They've known each other since school. There's a lot of history, and it's family really at the end of the day. And so you don't know whether there's going to be speeches and everybody's going to be crying, or what the mood's going to be like when you walk out. Is it going to be somber, or is it going to be celebratory? And it was probably the best possible way that they could have done a send off.
Yeah, and the really neat thing about it is that's the song they end every like jam session with, or like practice session, I think Johnny was saying. So it was kind of neat for them to share it with everybody else and bring everyone else into that world. But I'm going to miss Fields of Green because they're a great band. They're one of my favourite
likewise
local bands, and you hear them on the record and they sound good on the record, but then you see them live as well, and that's a totally different experience, especially if it's somewhere where you can move around to their music. Yeah. So it's a shame, but life happens, and good luck to them all. Yeah. And let's dive into one of their new songs. This is I Think She's Ready. All right, so once again, that was Fields of Green, and that was their song, I Think She's Ready. Don't forget, they've got a second new song that they put out as well, so head on over to our Facebook page, where you'll find a link to their Facebook page, and you can check out their other new song too, so don't forget to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And that is it for episode 17. Thanks so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. James Calder, I hope you're still listening. I hope you listened all the way to the end. We're going to be in touch about your awesome prize winnings. So keep that in mind. We will contact you. And thanks to everyone out there for listening. Please help us spread the word about the show. We'd really appreciate that. You know, anything you can do to help us, whether it's just a like on Facebook or a share, or even just, you know, I don't know, whatever you want to do, tell your mum about us. We don't mind. We just appreciate it. So thanks for listening. We will see you next week. Goodbye for now.
Alt Rock Radio Now is brought to you in part by Czek Creative. Czek Creative is a Kelowna-based digital agency that delivers results across Canada. Learn more at czekcreative.com. That's CSEK creative.com.